Scoundrels?
Yeah.
Are you getting necromantic?
No, that's Remy.
That is Remy. Remy's a little
Very-
necromantic now.
Very excited.
How necromantic of you.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. We're live.
I had an
Welcome to Tales of the Witch Boy. Today's going to be an interesting episode, I think, because we're probably at some point going to be fast forwarding a little bit into Eylea. But right now, our party is aboard an airship. And they just had an encounter? They just spent time with Kekshin, Shijia's deity. Let's see what's going on here. Interesting. Looks like my
yeah, I can see that.
stream's a little off. We'll try to adjust it. But I'd like all of you to just kind of pick up where we left off last time. It is the 24th of Glimmer. Thank you, Michaela. And I would like to know, what is it that you are doing or interested in doing as you fly through the skies on essentially a steamboat airship, after you have just had this incredible once-in-a-lifetime meeting with Kekshin.
Real quick to Sogafa. Thank you for asking questions. I'm out of practice.
Oh, my mom was always very insistent that I pay attention when we were doing an educational game, and that's what that felt like to me. So I was really on board. And I'm glad I wasn't hogging too much of the floor there.
What is an educational game?
Well, you know, when your mom puts little notes up on the wall with like their vocabulary words, and you got to go up and smack them. You didn't play games.
You smack them?
Well, yeah.
What happens after you smack them?
Well, you get points if you're faster than the neighbors.
Then you play this with your. So they would come over, and you would have words on the wall. And if you hit them faster, you would get a point?
Yeah. And then if you got the most points, then you got to pick out which snacks you had first. And sometimes there was, fruit, and other times there was just like crackers and stuff, and they were kind of boring. And so if you got the most points, then you got the best snacks.
Were you not... Is this how you ate?
No. I mean, it was just a game. Do you not know what a game is?
This is not how we learned.
But it can be fun. You didn't have fun?
We didn't stack cards. We were given food outside of the games.
No, yeah, of course. It was just like a treat for doing a good job.
I see. I just wanted to ask.
We were fed. I didn't grow up neglected, like Shijia.
Oh, all right.
Those are not my traumas.
They're not my character's knives.
Thank you for your concern, though. And thank you for taking us to meet Kekshin. That was cool. He was very well dressed.
He could have been dressed better, but it was. I appreciate him taking him along to speak with him personally.
Me too. Me too. Do you still have? By the way, do you still have that spell book? What happened to that spell book that we took off of Drask?
Yes, I take it out and I hand it to. I also like dump out the bird that was in my sleeve that I thought I would need it.
Bird?
There was I didn't need this anymore. I didn't.
Like chuck it over the edge of the airship.
Yeah,
No, I
throw it
wanted
out.
that.
Oh, I mage handed it from the window I threw it out of.
Give me a reflex save.
Telekinetic projectile in reverse.
Where's my... Here we are. Okay, let's see if we can get this bird for you. I didn't know you wanted it. Sorry. 26.
Yeah, you got the bird.
Nice.
Nice catch.
Like so chill about it, casual. Oh, sorry. Flings it back in.
I think I just threw it badly, so it didn't even hit the portal. It was like the side, so I was able to manage it back because it didn't even leave the.
It like hits the railing of the ship, and like just starts to fall over, and like she just
It's like,
like
onto the...
okay.
Very smooth.
Thank you.
Mm.
I take the bird.
And now you
shove it
take the
into my
book.
pouch.
From one patch to another.
So over the next 2 to 3 weeks, you are aboard an airship. You start off on this airship, which is, I believe, called the Serenity? No, that's a Firefly thing. Which is called the... I got you. Hang on. Felicity. And you make your way to Flay's Gate, which is northwestern part of Flaybrush. And this is the last destination that this captain had agreed to take you. And when you're there, you're able to catch another airship over toward Eylea. The second airship is a bit rougher. It's not a comfortable ride. It's not something that... It's not a passenger ship. This is purely a cargo vessel. And as was the Felicity. But the Felicity is more homey because it's made to be something that stays around in Flaybrush, maybe picks up people here and there, transports them. It's at least accustomed to ferrying passengers when the need arises. Second ship, not at all. You have a gruff Knoll captain, much like Captain Gandry, except a lot less personable, a lot less interested in spending
Nice.
time with you. And he's purely interested in getting you from point A to point B as quickly as he can, because he has cargo to deliver. But he's willing to take you. He suggests that you take the route from Flay's Gate. I'm going to go ahead and show you the world map here. Okay. Flay's Gate on our world map is about where I am pinging at the moment. Eylea is right over here.
Ooh. That's a ride.
It is, and so over the next 2 to 3 weeks, you are able to cut east. So, draw a little bit of a line here. Oop. You're able to cut east. You travel through Yotris. And then begins to get colder. And please, Shijia, what's up?
Sorry, my leg fell asleep.
Begins to get colder as the winds pick up farther north. And you catch what this captain refers to as a stream of air. And that stream of air, which is a common coastal breeze, pulls you eastward. And you go around the map. And land right here in Eylea. Now, this is a small city, port, named something that I'm coming up with right now. Silvermoon Harbor. Silvermoon Harbor lies on the western coast of Eylea and is within the what's it called? The Untamed Wilds.
Severed.
Thank you. The Severed Wilds of Eylea. As you land, you realize this is like a pioneer's village. This is somewhere people only stop when they need to. Maybe a few people live here year-round, but those people, like, they're pretty rough and tumble. They know how to take care of themselves. This is not somewhere the average person wants to live long-term. But you see any manner of airships landing nearby. You see any manner of sailing ships landing nearby in Silvermoon Harbor. And you have a journey into the Eylean kingdom of... Help me out here, someone, with your notes. I'm forgetting which kingdom I had mentioned a while back.
Yeah,
By someone here, you mean Michaela?
That would be great if Michaela
Well-
has it.
How's your notes?
I think Shijia also had notes on this particular thing. Because it's where the Yarlas come from.
Yes.
Oh, let's see if I can find it.
I also may have it. I'll go ahead and check.
A thistle branch does not. I don't know if I was even
Thesatra
with you.
Kingdom.
One more time.
Thesatra.
Yes,
Thank you.
There we go. Thanks.
Yes. So you now have a journey to begin from Silvermoon Harbor toward the kingdom of Thesatra in Eylea. And what you will find as you begin this journey is that the Severed Wilds are just as rough as you have heard them to be. Bandits, criminals, dangerous witches who often lean evil, as well as like raiding orc parties. People who are here to steal from you and who ambush travelers. And Silvermoon Harbor is a very popular destination for people coming into Eylea because most people need to either go through Silvermoon Harbor or the other side of the continent in order to get into the elven kingdoms, which are very closely monitored and very closely monitored and very
Well policed.
well policed and well regulated, right?
Yeah.
So you'll find that as you enter your first elven kingdom, which is the largest, you work your way east. The elven kingdoms get progressively smaller until you eventually arrive in the last kingdom of Thesatra. There's a road that cuts all the way between each elven kingdom once you arrive there. So I'm going to give you all a moment to kind of connect with each other, roleplay as you arrive in Eylea. And as you're on this road moving through the elven kingdoms, is there anything you would like to do? Anything you would like to look out for? Yeah, I'm just going to give you all a moment to kind of take the stage if you'd like.
I do have a thing I wanted to do at some point, probably while camping for the night or in the room of an inn along the way. But before that, what is the landscape like here?
Forest, jungle,
Yeah,
wild.
forest and like deciduous forests. So very thick forests with trails that cut through the severed wilds, but nothing quite so like clear, but like clearly marked. So there's a lot of survival opportunity here.
Okay. So this feels adjacent to home for me, probably.
Okay.
Similar theme, different trees and climate.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Are we having to make camp often, or are we finding enough settlements that we are mostly spending our time in taverns and such?
For about the first 3 to 4 days, you do need to make camp. And then after that,
Okay.
you're able to find an inn, a hostel, a tavern. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So at some point, I think probably when we're making camp, I would, and not to the side of the group, so the group is here and present probably. I'm going to approach Shijia and say, hey, do you have, well, I mean, we do have a few minutes, of course, because we're just making camp, but could I ask you for something?
You may ask. I don't know if I'll have an answer for you, but you may ask.
Good enough. A few weeks ago, when we were talking with your god patron guy, what was his name again?
Kexen.
Kexen. I had wanted to ask him something, but it felt like it wasn't the right time for it. We were sort of focused more on Remy and what Sogafa had learned and all of that, and that was more important at the moment. But being here in a forest again is kind of kept my mind on something for a while, and I wanted to see if you could maybe divine a question or something in that way that you do.
Of course.
And it's okay if there's not an answer, but the question comes with a little bit of a story. If you have a moment for it.
Of course. Let me set up first.
Sure.
In the beginning of like weeks ago, I think like the day after, I would have like repaired my fan, so I would have taken a day to like rebuild a new skeleton, glue the paper, cast the spell, and then puppy's back.
Yay.
So I take out my divining stuff, I set out all of the bones, I set out like a little mat for you to sit on, and me sit on opposite, gesture for you to sit. Yes.
And again, the rest of the group is here too. I'm not we're making camp. We're by a campfire while this is happening. When I was really little, I was sort of given up to a druidic order that lived in a jungle in Flaybush, and they raised me. I never knew who my actual parents were, and that's neither here nor there, but it was an all-female order. The older women would ceremonially adopt us, and so I had a mother and a grandmother. And when I was like 12, our village was attacked during the war. And that's how this happened. And she points to the giant gash of a scar that's on her left side. When I left the village, I ran, and well, all of us did, but I ended up by myself, and I was attacked by some sort of creature. I don't even know what it was. It was too dark. But once I had patched myself up with my grandma's healing skills, the little bit I'd learned, I went back to the village, and I didn't see everyone there. Anyone who was left other than me was dead, and that's where my mom was, but I don't know if my grandma survived. And I was wondering if maybe he would know.
Well, you may ask.
That's the question. Is my grandmother alive? And it's okay if there's no answer. Yes or no, or indeterminate. I mean, it wouldn't really change much if we didn't know. But I never ran into anyone else from my village ever again. So,
all right.
We'll see.
I'm going to show you how this works. So, as you see in front of us, I start to explain how the divination works. You basically pick up the bones and then you toss them. And depending on how they orient, it's either a yes or a no. And I teach you how that works. And as I am explaining this to you, the shadow appears, half of your body appears in skeleton, and my other half mirror also in skeleton.
Okay. And I pick them up and toss them in front of me.
I roll 26.
Shijia, what is the highest that you can get on an occultism check?
The highest that I can get is a 34.
Okay.
Flex.
I can do one thing.
Yeah, no, that's good for me to know.
And what's the lowest you can get?
15.
Okay.
So this would be around a 10 on the die ish.
This one is, I think it's around a 12.
12.
Yeah.
Okay. As one half of your body becomes enveloped by this skeletal figure, you notice the process become slightly interrupted by something that is on your personage. go ahead and take a look around.
My personage or their personage?
Your personage.
My personage.
Yes. As you begin to look around, you notice where is it that you would have kept the coin from Kexen?
Ooh, I would have kept it. It is a gift for sure. In my divination box.
Okay. As so is your divination box then on the table? Is that what's?
I think it's like open in front of me.
Okay. So your skeletal half begins to bisect you, and it stops as it gets to the table. And you see in front of you this coin kind of glow and shake just a little bit.
I pick it up.
Okay. It stops glowing. Go ahead and give me a give me an occultism check again.
Okay.
Are they, Thistle, did you want to do this in private, or is this a group?
It's
squad?
with everyone.
Okay.
Everyone's there.
33.
Dang. Almost max.
Almost max.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Shijia, as you pick up the coin, it hits you that this coin is indicating there is a far more complicated answer to this question than yes or no.
Has this happened to me ever before?
No, but I think considering what happened with Kexen giving you this coin, you putting together the pieces, your divination being stopped mid session, and the coin glowing. Somehow you're able to put together that the answer is not a simple yes or no, that the answer could be both yes and no.
Your answer is yes and no.
Huh? How would she be alive and dead at the same time? Wait, no, I know that answer. And I look at Sogafa.
I don't know what's so complicated about that.
Sorry, just still wrapping my head around it.
Can I fucking society check or something of like a have I read in a book what creatures are dead and alive?
Yeah,
Can I
let's.
do a religion check on it?
Anybody
Yeah.
can do any type of check they would like, and also Shijia, we can roll over that 33 if you would like.
I would love to. This
Okay.
is bananas.
There are.
Huh.
Oh, go ahead. What did you all roll?
The thing I'm going to add to this, I think, is nature.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to know what is dead and alive. I want to know what can make something both of those things. That I would know would exist where I grew up.
So, let's start with the 23 nature.
That was me.
Sky, as Thistle begins to consider all of the options, I would imagine your mind begins to race.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I would think that this would be a very intense moment for you, right? You start to put some pieces together and you just can't quite come up with an answer to this puzzling question. But you think that the answer lies somewhere between the biological and the religious and the occult. Something amidst all of those three. And you would imagine that there needs to be some sort of, if not divine, some sort of afterlife intervention in order for this to occur. And I think you're able to settle on the fact that your grandmother did at some point die. But there's more, but you can't figure out what more there is. Sogafa, hearing this, seeing this happen, hearing what Shijia says, your answer is both yes and no. You start thinking about what you know related to religious involvement in life after death, or just death, what have you. I think that Sogafa is able to kind of piece together that there could be any number of divine intervention techniques that something or someone might use to intercede in the death of an individual. Specifically in your case, someone could become undead. And with Thistle's grandmother, that's likely to happen in a much different way than it happened with you. And so becoming undead is not off the table. However, Sogafa, you know that oftentimes when someone becomes undead, if they were not born that way, their personality drastically changes. It tends to guide them toward a different goals in life, different ways of expressing themselves. They might keep who they are as a person deep down, but how they express that and who they choose to spend time with, and just in general how they live their life, becomes much different. And in many cases, it can drastically change them, even in the depth of their core of who they are. Then, with Shijia, as you continue to think about this with your 33, I think you're able to piece together what Thistle and Sogafa are thinking through. And then you're able to kind of consider the other options that might be reincarnation, divine intervention in someone's life. Like if someone dies, they might just be able to, congrats, you're alive now. So those two options also present themselves to you. And as you consider all of these options, I think you're down to 3 possibilities. Undeath in some fashion, divine intervention that does not result in undeath, and reincarnation of the soul into a different body. Further, the god, the deity of death, is known to, reincarnation is known to take place on Galesrian. It is thought that everyone who dies, the energy of their soul is absorbed by the living things around them. The energy is taken back into the deity that allows that cycle to continue, and then it is transformed back into life of some kind.
It seems like we're going to need to keep an eye out for Thistle's grandmother. I wonder if is there any way for us to know possibly where she is, or are we just kind of shooting blind on that one?
Well, the last time I saw her would have been like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
No way to know. Yeah.
There is a way to ask. If that's something you want to know, Thistlebrand.
I think so. I pick up the divination tools again. Yes or no, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is she on Flaybrush?
$25.
It's a pretty clear no.
No.
I mean, I could go through all of them.
You could. I could not stop you if that's your wish.
Maybe just keep focus on where we're at. And I pick it up and ask, is she on Eylea?
30.
Much clearer no.
No.
Okay. I'm going to make a voluntary will save. Would
Okay.
Thistle have the will to keep from asking further? And I made it 27.
I think that is up to you, but that sounds reasonable.
I think she would just ask the question for now. Is she on Galastrian?
Let's see then.
There are other planes, there are other...
28.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe that's it for now. I think I have to think about this for a bit more.
Did you find the answers you wanted?
I think I did. Yeah. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And I think that particular night that we do that, Thistle would probably seek out Gandry for warmth at that night and not say anything. Just be silent and be with him since he's known the story.
Yeah, I think
And
he'll
with the
have
others.
the
It's a loud dog back there.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
okay.
I'm glad that dog's having a good time.
Happy pup. You're fine. He brings whatever you need. He's there. He's ready to be attentive. He's ready to listen if need be. He has a blanket for you. It is cold up here as well. It's in the northern part of the world, and you're in a deciduous forest. It's just not super warm. So he has I think he probably makes you some soup, some stew, and you
Is
just
it any
kind
good? Do we have
so.
like an
I think so.
Eowyn situation here?
I think he's actually like, I think he's probably a fairly talented cook.
Okay.
I would guess that one of the things he got into over his time, like 7 years living in Sagagesa and not able to do anything, was probably learning how to cook a little bit at least.
It's like the people who picked up making sourdough during the Yep,
That's so accurate.
He would. He totally would.
He would make a compote. He would.
Yeah.
Very good.
Sogafa volunteered for sure to forage for like ingredients for his
I
his
actually
comfort food.
have a thing for this, so
Nice.
I think that that particular night, Thistle probably would be doing this every day, but that night she would lend you her coyote cloak, so you would get plus to that.
Cool.
And it is a coyote pelt that she has herself decorated. It's got like all kinds of bits and bobs on it. She at this point has fashioned, by the way, the wings of the raven into a kind of like collared necklace sort of thing. And you have the coyote cloak has similar things attached to it, different jewelries that she's made, mostly out of bone or feather, stuff like that. Yeah, like her piercings are all bone and feather and stuff, and so that would give you a plus something to this specific task or something, a +1 to survival checks, and a crit success at a survival check to subsist allows you to feed twice as many additional creatures. So I mean, it's a 1 in.
Oh, I'm good at this.
you feel really good at this all of a sudden. It's like just now that you're in the element, you look like you blend in, and you've seen this cloak since you've met Thistle, so.
Right, and I've definitely been curious about it. I mean, if Sogafa is any huntress, she's wanted to know about it.
Yeah. And
okay, so then wait, question. I'm a forager as a feat. So, while using survival to subsist, if you roll anything worse than a success, you get a success. And then on a success, you can provide for myself. I can provide for myself and 4 additional creatures, and on a crit, I can take care of twice as many. So does that mean I can take care of 4 times as many on a crit with this thing on?
Does this stack?
I don't think it's stacked.
Because that'd be amazing. We could have feasts every day. What are we doing paying for an inn? We should be saving money.
I love it. Yeah, you're easily able to take care of the group between the two of you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just imagining, like, you know how like when you put on a cosplay for the first time and you feel like awesome? It's kind of like that. You're already good at the thing, and now you're like, man, this is great.
I'm really badass.
I'm like the best, actually. I'm a fucking genius.
Yeah, and I think that, like, while you are having this moment, Thistle's kind of having hers, and she's maybe not feeling it that particular night. So she probably would. It's the first time you've seen her give this thing away to anyone, and she's like, "Here, you can use this. That should help you find something. Don't."
Gandry's just like jaws dropped. Like,
this means everything to Sogafa. Oh my. Are you sure?
You'll figure it out.
Okay.
You'll figure it out.
Okay.
Let's eat well tonight.
It's a good fit, even. It fits me so well. Wow, look at this. She
We're
does
the
like a
same
little
size.
twirl.
Yep, we're the same size even.
Yeah.
The like punk feral child aesthetic that Thistle has is maybe not exactly the aesthetic you have, but the contrast between yours and hers is it's good.
It's
like
giving, you know?
Yeah, it's just I'm just having a punk night, you know?
Yeah.
you know?
Just feeling a little sassy tonight, you know?
Gotta have a punk night, you know.
Yeah, don't you know?
I think you all are pretty able to make your way through the Severed Wilds.
Knowing this now.
Yeah, it's go ahead.
Every 10 days, between the two of us, critting every
What?
one every 20 or something, roughly. Like, every 10 days or so, we eat really freaking good.
Nobody loses any weight. We all actually show up fatter than when we started.
Especially Gandry.
Like bears in the autumn, you know?
I brought some ale with from Flaybrush. I made sure to pick some up. Would you like some?
Yeah, I don't even say anything. I just take it from him, and he just like, he doesn't even offer. He just, or no, he probably like just hands it out to me first, and then.
Yeah. Something else that has actually happened as all of you make your 2 to 3 weeks trek. Well, it's really 2 to 3 weeks of flying and then some, right? You land in Eylea. Let's go ahead and call it. Let's pull up our calendar really quick.
Yeah, note the date, Michaela.
We left
Where is my
on 24 Glimmer.
Mhm.
From River Rest.
Right. So if it's, 2 to 3 weeks to Silver Moon Harbor, and then however long it takes us to cross the Severed Wilds. Now, it took a long time to get across Sagagesa, but that place is much bigger than LA is.
Yeah. Okay. So you are in the 24th. It's the 24th of blah blah blah. 24th of Glimmer, and say it takes you a full week. 2 full weeks. So it is. Let's go. You arrive in Silver Moon Harbor on Terra the 9th, which is Orb Day. And it is a half moon at the moment. Then
I probably would have spoken up about 2 nights into the journey.
Okay. So then, is that 2 nights on the ship or 2 nights into
the forests of
Got it.
Eylea?
So maybe.
Also,
go ahead.
that same night, I would have the stuff that I learned on my 33. I would have shared with Sogafa.
Okay.
You learned on your 33 roll. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I feel like we all probably like hashed that out, like thought through our processes and like stacked on each other.
Got it.
Sounds good. Yeah. So I think then on Star Day, the 11th of Terra, which is fall, by the way, you have this conversation about Thistle's grandmother. Shijia, did you want to add anything?
Actually, so where's Sogafa from again?
She's from probably somewhere right in the middle. Well, maybe not. So, Emma, where in this gigantic continent across the little narrows here, would you say you have halflings primarily living?
Sure. Probably somewhere relatively protected amongst the elven kingdoms, nearby the elven kingdoms, but not within them.
In them, yeah.
So I'd say you're looking at either right here in this little inlet, right here in this little inlet, or right here in this little inlet.
Okay, perfect, because my heart told me the middle inlet there.
Okay.
So that's I'd say right in the middle. That's where she's from. She probably mostly only went straight north as far as when she was going into the elven kingdoms to trade or what have you.
Okay.
Because that city seems pretty close there.
So actually, Well, let's talk this through. So, 3 to 4 days. Let's say 4 days through the Severed Wilds. It's difficult terrain. It's not easy to get through. Um, you leave on the morning of Dust Day, the 10th. On the second night, on the Star Day, the 11th, you have this conversation about Thistle's grandmother. You travel on the 12th and on the 13th. And then on Terra Day, the 14th, Terra, you arrive at the walls of the closest elven kingdom. Da, 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 da. Yeah. One thing I did want to say as you are traveling throughout these 2 to 3 weeks, and then some, you notice that Remy's bat continues to grow.
Fuzzy's gonna be bigger than our little Remy.
So Fuzzy does he grow. He grows into a medium-sized creature. By the time it's pretty big.
God.
Yeah, by the time you arrive in like let's say by the time you arrive at the wall, he can't hang off Remy's back anymore. He's so large. And I think he's trying to allow Gandry to let him on his shoulders to hang off. And Gandry's just a little bit weirded out by it. But I think eventually Gandry gives in. Like, Remy, do I have to carry this thing? I get that he's your friend now, and I get that he's well, I just don't know.
A reluctant dad.
Oh, come on. You can carry me with no problem.
You're much smaller than this thing.
Yeah, and I can pick this thing up. Athletics check. Let's do it. Watch me roll a 1.
Hey!
Dirty 20.
Dirty
Nice.
20. I still think that this bat is a little difficult for you to pick up.
Not a problem.
Like I think you can get under him and maybe do a quick little push him up with your back. But you definitely cannot straighten up and stand up all the way.
I can't do a proper clean jerk.
No.
Aw, come on. I would have needed a crit for that.
But you all do arrive at the Treslador Kingdom in Eylea. And to spell that, it's TRESLEDOR. Treslador. And you find the wall is pretty clearly in front of you. It's a towering wall that stretches up through the forest. And it runs as far as you can see in either direction. And eventually you are able to kind of follow along the wall until you find what looks to be an entrance. Jenna, did you want to jump in with anything? See you.
I feel like Shijia would have talked with Sogafa at point, considering we're flying over where she's from.
You are actually walking.
Ooh, we're walking now, huh?
Mhm.
Okay then, I'll take the idiot ball. Sometime as we are walking, Shijia goes up to Sogafa and says, "Were you from this area?"
Oh no, I'm from much farther east here. But all the elven kingdoms are basically the same. It's just a bunch of snobby elves who think that just because you're not an elf, you're not good enough to, get fair prices on your goods, and so just don't even worry about these people. But you probably want to know everything, don't you?
I mean, I'm not saying no.
Okay. I don't know how much Sogafa would really know about the big. I feel like she would know about like the big news across the Elven kingdoms, but she was like small town, secluded for all of her life. She only popped into town to like sell goods every now and then when they needed a little extra cash, and I don't know how much she would really know about the political inner workings.
I would even think that, like, outside of the walls, kind of where you live, even though there isn't like a village of sorts, or there might be, but um, like there are communities of halflings who live just outside the walls, um, and can pretty easily get in if they need to, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. So okay, should I do like a would it be society check to see how much
Yeah.
I know to tell her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think midway through you talking, Li Shijia would have maybe interrupted you and said, "Oh, I didn't realize we had flown over your home. Were you not looking to visit?"
Oh, we didn't fly over my home. Cause we're over here,
like-
right?
Yeah, we're like here, yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought she was from here.
I am.
Sorry.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
going left to right.
Oh!
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear.
We're going left to right. I saw it being drawn this way, so I assumed we were going this way.
So Gaffa is gonna like bust out a quick little piece of paper and a stick that's burnt on the end and be like, okay, you're gonna have to work on your survival skills, but here's a map, basically, of the area.
Remy turns to Thistle and is like, I mean, I know she's my teacher, but like, come on.
She's
Didn't even
directing.
realize we were walking into the sunrise. Oh my god. By the way, does the sun rise in the east on Galestrian? I am just assuming.
Same rotation as
Okay.
as the Earth, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Or yeah,
In the
rotation,
west?
revolution.
It rises in the east and set it. I'll say it in character. Yeah, it rises in the east and sets in the west. This is like survival 101.
You better get your steed out.
Are things different on Yotris, Shijia? I've never been there
Welcome
before.
to
I'm sorry.
Welcome to the
Hello.
most Lashija show.
Just the whole group razzes Lushija because one time she doesn't know where she is.
In a continent she's never been.
Let us
After
have this
weeks
one.
of being on an airship with no real direction.
I'm sorry I asked. I was worried that you were homesick, that we were traveling over your home, but it seems like you have everything under control. I'm sorry I asked.
Oh, no, I'm not really homesick. I mean, I miss my mom a lot. And I have some property, I suppose, if you want to see where I grew up, but, it's probably really overgrown by now because I haven't been there for months, so it wouldn't be very presentable for guests.
Sure, it's fine. It's fine.
Wait a minute, you have like an entire like property and stuff? Like
Well, my
just
mom
you?
had a homestead, and then she went on to spend some time with Entar before re-entering the cycle of life, and who else was she gonna give it to? I don't have any siblings or anything, and she wasn't married, so it's mine now. I assume Lishija probably has some property. It's good for the portfolio,
I don't have property.
I've got property.
What?
Back in Saga Gesa, made a tree house with my friend one time. And I don't think anybody's taken it down before. Or yet. So I mean, yeah.
Well, when we go back there, we're gonna have to probably clean up the yard, but we could. That sounds nice.
Well, yeah, it's pretty cool. I liked it. It was always a good place to spend time after school.
I bet Fuzzy would love it in there.
Oh, yeah, he would. He'd probably be able to hang from the tree better than for me or Gandry.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's right. Off to the side to Gandry in Knoll, I'm going to say, what the fuck are all these people doing here with property, right? Who needs that shit? We just go live in the forest or something, man.
What do you think they're talking about, Sogafa?
I think, Gandry really is kind of uncomfortable with Fuzzy, and so I bet Thistle's probably just razzing him about it.
She just has the map and she's trying to orient it to figure out where she is in the trees.
Eventually you bump into an elven guard.
Thank you. I was wondering when it was going to happen. I'm glad that this is the moment.
Welcome to... Oh, what's the name? Tesslador.
Treslador.
Not
Not
Tesla. Does the wall open from the top?
Long live our King Musk.
No.
Oh.
I believe this map has a way around or something.
That was the sound of a cease and desist hitting us with the force of a solid rocket to Mars or something.
I was thinking probably about the speed of a hyperloop.
Okay, yeah, there we go. That was a better joke. I tried, y'all.
You look up and you think you see something metallic zooming across the wall. The wall stretches up quite high, and there's an elven guard holding a spear, wearing heavy armor. It's all golden, or it appears to have a golden hue. Kind of looks like it's got gold leaf that is textured across the top. And he has long white hair that is in a braid that drapes behind his back. And he is standing in front of an open portcullis. And you can see in the distance behind him kind of a not bustling but not quiet village. Welcome to Tesslador. Treslador, goddammit. Welcome to Treslador.
First day on the job, eh?
The portcullis swings up.
Let's go in. Let's just go in.
It makes a strange whirring sound. Whatever the sound those things make.
What's this thing called? A battery? Yeah, you make your way in, and about a 10-minute walk on the same road, you encounter the edges of what appears to be a village. Do you all mind if I fast forward things again?
Do your thing.
Okay. So you work your way through into the beginnings of Treslador. You travel along the road, passing at first small village to small village, and then you enter into towns that are a little more bustling, many more people, and across the road, or intersecting with the road, are other roads that lead north and south. And at one point, there is a plain of grass where the trees cannot be seen for miles and miles and miles. And you're able to look south, and you see just the hint of what seems to be a stone castle far in the distance. But you continue along the road from Treslador into the next kingdom, which is Kutonn. Kutonn. And Kutonn is much less flashy. You don't see as many armed guards and gold-plated armor. It is much more practical of a location, much smaller, more villages, about the same size, fewer towns. But again, at one point, you do actually pass through the capital city of Kutonn, and you just pass the edge of it. So it's a gleaming castle that actually is built within the forest. So it's built among the trees, and the castle rises above these trees. Keep going along that road, and you travel from Kutonn into, let's see, Doneea. So Doneaa, Doneea. And this is an even smaller kingdom. Much less flashy than the first. It seems as you travel, things become progressively smaller and smaller. Until eventually you arrive in Thesatra. And Thesatra is much different from the pattern that you've seen, starting off large and flashy, getting slightly smaller, until here in Thesatra it just opens up into this forest that is full of like beautiful castles that stretch above the trees, very showy, artistic, very ornate, and the guards here that you see walking are a mix of drow and elven guards, and their armor is a deep slate steel color, with accents of like bright purple and yellow, and as you pass them, they seem very jovial people. Seem to be very jovial, very happy, very excitable, engaging to have conversations with, and eventually you make your way into the capital of Thesatra, which is Thesatra, the city of Thesatra. You have arrived, and I would like to know, when you arrive in the city on
I picture our journey through the Elven Kingdoms like, you know, that scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where Willy Wonka goes through the like Hall of Flags and he's just like marching along and there's just like these flags going past him. That's how I picture us going through the Elven Kingdoms. Just, you know, flashes of villages, castles.
I think that's pretty accurate. At least with what I had in my mind as well.
It's like a little montage.
Yeah. You arrive in Thesatra, the city of Thesatra, which is right here at this black dot on the 23rd of Terra. It is fall. It is getting colder, but it's not unbearable. And I'd like to know what you would like to do in the city.
Do we see a lot of... So we see drow. Do we see a lot of undead? Because I haven't been here.
That's a good question. No, you don't see a lot of undead people around. No more than you normally would in any heavily populated area. I would say, every now and then there's a zombie just walking down the street. No.
Nice.
Every now and then you see like a dampier or see what are some other common undead folk. Like a dust walker. No, those aren't undead.
I mostly just wanted to know whether or not I should leave my face covering up. So I will. I'll stay as covered as possible. Not in a suspicious way. Just avoiding notice in general while we wander about.
I do have a quick question, though. We've been through several elven kingdoms now. Does this place seem as fancy and kind of highfalutin as the others, or is this a little bit more of a...
More so.
More so?
Not more so than the first, but more so than the second and the third. So you enter Thesatra. Thesatra is like traditional, fancy, ornate, beautiful, pearly, golden. As you enter, I mean, it's even the roads. Yeah, even the roads look well kept and have like beautiful little trim on the edge of the roads, like little stones that are decorative.
Okay.
The second kingdom, the third kingdom, much less so. But then you arrive here in the fourth kingdom of Thesatra, and everything just seems ornate to a point where it's showy and like not necessarily traditional. But it still does look very nice.
It's like it's not gaudy though.
No.
Okay.
I make note of the clothing transitions between the areas and the actual clothing.
That is interesting, though. As you enter the city, you notice many more people who are living in squalor here in Thesatra than you noticed in the other kingdoms. So you've got your you've got in the city, you have kind of different rings of wealth. The outermost ring being the poorest, but you still see these like elves and drow in this ornate, beautiful armor patrolling, walking around. But then you go into the next ring, and it's a bit nicer, but there's quite a bit of squalor around.
When we pass through the rings, are the people who are dressed well only the elves and drow?
Yeah, it seems like most people who are dressed well tend to be elves, drow, and other like standard humanoid races. So you're like typical D&D races, right? Or ancestries. The exception, I would say, being you don't see many orcs here at all, or half orcs.
Tiefling?
Yeah, actually, I think Thesatra would be a place where you do see more tieflings than in other parts of the world.
Interesting. Are there a lot of halflings?
Yep.
Are they just well?
I would say with halflings, it can be any mix.
Okay.
You can see
Like
people who are...
halflings don't necessarily show their wealth like that. It's not in their nature.
How many gnolls towards the city center other than the two of us?
Almost none. Actually, let's do this. Give me a flat d20, and here's how stark it's going to be. If you give me a higher number, then there's a possibility that you're going to see one other gnoll.
Okay. 2! Hey,
You don't
that's how
see-
many gnolls I see.
You don't see
Hey!
any... Yeah, no gnolls. You and
Yeah.
Gandry are the only two.
None even in the outer rings.
Mm-mm.
Didn't think so. So
This
probably
is a
stand out a
problem,
bit.
actually. This is an issue.
Oh, you mean the ragged ship captain and the little itty bitty version of said thing that is walking in with furs and bone piercings and necklaces everywhere?
No, well, if there were others like you, Shijia wouldn't care. But the fact that we're the only ones and we're gonna try to do something crazy in this city, and you two are easily identifiable, is a issue we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a proposal. And I don't know if we're gonna like it, but Shijia, I think we should. I know that you're already kind of like a leader amongst us here, but I
I
think
believe I have the most votes, but I don't recall ever having a vote of me becoming the leader.
Okay,
I have as many votes as Shijia does.
that's yes. Okay, all right, but you are a child. So I think that what we should do is make sure that Shijia gets to get all dolled up.
That term is subjective, actually.
I'm sorry, Remy. It's just that. Okay, listen to the plan before you. Just...
I mean, personally, this system still feels a little off to me. Like it's meant to disproportionately, change the balance of power. But you know,
like what about those people who like don't really you know have a lot going on up here? Like don't they still matter? Like.
I mean, yeah, they still get to vote. It's just sometimes they're negative, is all.
You just try.
My magic is negative, and it works just fine. So
She has the straight face where you're not trying to like do an expression, but you can tell.
I'm sorry.
So what was your plan?
Sorry.
I don't remember. Okay, here's the plan. Okay, all right. As we've wandered around here, we've all noticed that the typical humanoids tend to be those who seem to be living in more opulence than squalor. So if Shijia poses as our, wealthy noblewoman who's high on society, I don't know if she'll pull that one off. We could maybe be her exotic entourage and pass relatively unseen in the crowds, at least, get us in a room alone and it's gonna be suspicious, but as long as we're wandering, maybe we could be her servants.
Maybe not that last word, but
Yeah, posing as.
Entourage seems interesting, and I think I have been feeling a little bit out of my element and also out of place here, so maybe it would do us well to get some finer clothes.
Would you be more comfortable? Oh, sorry. Would you be more comfortable posing as security of some kind? You're pretty muscly. You already are the muscle.
I mean, that would probably work out a little bit better.
Immediately goes into a rage.
Call me security one more time.
No, I'm sorry.
But yeah.
Go shopping. We should get security guard outfits, some nice shoes, because those are looking real torn up, Shijia. And I don't know how I'm gonna blend in any more than I do already.
With our level up as well, because we did level up, and listeners, viewers don't even know this. We leveled up 2 levels actually since our last session. And
It was wonderful.
yes, it's a good level up.
Very exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've definitely increased our skills and abilities. So what I would say is y'all each, I'm gonna hand you all, let's see, let's look at wealth by level in Pathfinder and see how much gold you would get.
That is probably a good table to pull up.
Nice. Oh, actually, everyone, I forgot. With all this time we've spent among crowds, I've actually gotten much better at just kind of wandering through the crowd unobserved. So I can just be part of the group and not have, nobody will even know I'm here.
Interesting.
I'm going to say that each of you across your 2 to 3 week journey, including your time traveling through the Elven Kingdoms, have been able to come across 30 gold per person.
Oh,
Just busking my ass off.
a lot of busting. Hey, I'm up to an 11 in acrobatics, plus 11.
I think in any, especially the rougher and tumblier of them, any taverns that we've stopped in, Thistle has 100% been doing like arm wrestling contests. There's probably no prize fighting opportunities here, but like she's been asking around, and nothing's happening.
I love that.
Amazing.
But like she's absolutely trying to earn a little bit of that moolah there.
You know what? Everybody go ahead and give me a we're going to say that it's the 23rd of Terra, Star Day the 23rd, and you kind of get a feel for the city of Thesatra, and you're winding down for the night. In whatever inn you choose, tavern, inn, wherever you choose to stay the night. And a good old-fashioned bar fight breaks out. And I think we're going to call session there for tonight, since it's close to 8. And we'll pick up session next week, after you have chosen your next 30 gold of whatever it is you would like to buy, with initiative, in the middle of a bar fight, in the kingdom of Thesatra.
All right.
I would, before we close stream,
Yeah.
because we'd love to keep talking to all of you wonderful people, but also because it might be relevant here, I think Thistle would have made an argument for outskirts of town for the tavern or the inn. We might have some dealings here in the city and want to not, immediately call attention to ourselves, and then a bar fight breaks out.
I
So,
agree.
defeating us.
However, Sogafa counters with we don't want to be on the very outskirts, because if we come back into the very outskirts dressed in our nice clothes, then we're a target. So I vote like second ring.
Yeah, like mid-range.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Low key. Yeah.
She's just doing like society math in her head to figure out where it would be good for us to stay.
I love that society math.
Love it.
You know what? Let's do something fun. I need a reflex save from everyone.
From all of us?
From everyone.
Damn. Don't hit me, I'm rich.
Oh, that's good. That's good. 26.
Oh my god.
Mine wasn't incredible. It was 18.
29.
Damn, Shijia.
What happened?
Home amongst all these people.
This one's not my best one.
Well, as you take your seats in this tavern, this inn, wherever it is you are staying, you begin to kind of get your food, come together as a group, and you hear from across the bar someone shout, and then something is thrown, and on your table, a chair lands in between all of you. You're all able to kind of dodge out of the way as this happens.
I immediately turned to where the direction was and where I saw the person yelling.
Mm-hmm.
I have an ability where, like, no matter as long as I can see a
Getting
person's
clear.
mouth, I know what they're saying.
As long as
I
what?
as long as I can see like their mouth moving, I kind of know what they're saying. So I'm just kind of
Oh.
like,
Okay. I think it's actually fairly clear what they're saying. They shout at all of you. Oi, the towners. Go ahead and give us all you got. And we're gonna call it there.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah?
Good.
Thank you.
Mm.
Alrighty. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us on stream. See you later.
Until next week.